Hello and welcome to the Neurodivergent Social Work Voices campaign. I am Florence Smith, the neurodivergent social worker and your host. If you've stopped in to listen, there must be a reason why. Maybe it's to listen to and learn from the first-hand experiences of neurodivergent, or as I like to call us, neurosparkly social workers, on how you can create a neuro-inclusive workplace. Or maybe you're seeking advice from other neurodivergent social workers about what works for them. Whatever your reason, it's nice to have you here, because for 1 month we will hear from 19 neurosparkly social workers. The conversations will explore 19 journeys, 19 unique neurological profiles, and 19 tips for other neurosparkly social workers. So, why has this campaign been launched? Well, it's been done with the vision to raise awareness, share knowledge, celebrate neurodivergence, as well as increase representation of neurosparkly social workers across the profession. You can find us everywhere from students, social work assistants, frontline professionals, educators, and managers. Today, I'm talking with David, a social work student living with ADHD. David, I was wondering if you could please tell us a little bit about your current social work role.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here.
Firstly, David, please could you tell me a little bit about your current social work role?
Yep, absolutely. So, I'm a fourth year, final year student in Scotland, and currently on placement. The placement I'm on is my first and final placement. It should have had more, but obviously due to the recent pandemic has put things in flux. And I have really struck gold. The team that I've landed with are amazing. None of them are social workers, which is interesting, but they're all incredibly wonderful. And I'm working in an advocacy role with people in forensic mental health settings. And it's just been an absolute mine of knowledge, and it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And what a mine of knowledge to get to draw from other professions as well. I think those multidisciplinary teams, especially as a student, are absolutely fantastic. Because you do get to kind of, and as a neurodivergent person as well, not only get to draw upon different pockets of knowledge in terms of professions, but sometimes with our big picture thinking and making links is actually, we are then kind of better equipped to make links in terms of, oh, okay, so how does this fit into social work? And actually, what can I learn from this profession that I can bring into my social work role?
I hadn't considered that, but yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I like that.
As a neurodivergent person, working with other professions really, really excites me. And especially thinking kind of like, oh, how can we incorporate this, and trying to figure out if we have, or if we haven't, and could it be something that we like try out? Like clinical supervision is one that I absolutely love, having worked with counsellors, and think, why do we not have this as the foundation of our practice?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, we absolutely should. Not a doubt.
But I was wondering if you could tell me a bit about your neurodivergence and how your brain sparkles.
I like that. I like that. So my avenue of neurodivergence, I'm still waiting to be diagnosed. But it's on NHS, so that may never happen. But I have ADHD. But old school phrasing, I have ADD. So I don't have the hyper that comes with it. My body is in constant flux, so my leg will be bouncy, like twitchy legs. So I have an element of the hyperactivity, but I'm not all over the room, if that makes sense. My brain sparkles in a way of constant hyperarousal. Very aware, very sensitive, and very not anxious because, well, I am anxious, but it's not anxiety. It's awareness. And I think that's the best way to put it. Like the hyperarousal is just my brain sparkles because it's on. Um, it's like the lights and I'm trying to think of the best example. It's like the lights on a city to city bridge. You know, they're just never turned off.
I've also kind of got in my head when I think of your brain sparkling, and with the hyper alertness is almost, you know, like a circular saw with metal and the sparks, it just being like sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I like that.
That is where, yeah, that's where my brain took me personally, in a visual, creative way. But do you notice any particular strengths or challenges due to your neurosparkly brain?
I think strengths. My strengths and my challenges go hand in hand a little bit. So I am very much I'm an intense person. I feel I connect. I adapt very intensely to a situation I'm in, but that can also be negative because I become blinded by it. And I get lost in situations because I'm so hyperfixated on it. Everyone uses ADHD terms. I hyperfixate. And it can be for short periods of time, which is fine because it's a small thing and then I'm gone, or it can be for an endless time, which isn't good because then it becomes a sort of Alice in the Wonderland moment. Um, I think other ones that are strengths is I'm creative, I am imaginative, I try and problem solve, although I don't always manage it.
We attempt. That's the important part.
You got to attempt. Yeah. I think I never bore myself. I probably bore a lot of other people, but I never bore myself. There's always something that fascinates me, which is lovely. Disadvantages, challenges. I am not a productive human.
What does that look like?
Oh, so I'll start things and then I'll get distracted. Or I'll start things and then 4 days later remember I'd started it, you know? So, and then I'll try and start it and then I'll get distracted. So, I'm not very productive, and for myself anyway. Like, if I'm helping someone else, I think I can be fairly focused, but that's hard too. So, and that's also come with age. When I was younger, no one was getting help. No one ever. My brain wasn't having that.
If it makes you feel any better, I have a very similar experience myself as well. When it comes to kind of organization for myself, I really, really struggle. But if I know that it's for someone else, be it in a personal capacity or in a social work capacity, and someone might be relying on me to do something, that almost gives me the kind of like the pressure to get it done, or knowing that it's expected really helps. And sometimes I wonder if it's also like our inner voice, in the sense of we can sometimes be quite negative towards ourselves, and this is because of external messages we've had too. So if I forget to do something, I've really had to train myself not to say, oh, Florence, you're so stupid, why didn't you do that? And instead think, oh, my brain must have been shining real bright that day because I didn't do that. And it can sometimes be things as small as like remembering to eat lunch. So on a weekend, things like that can be really difficult, and having to set an alarm. Because I might be, as you said, like hyper focusing on, be it playing with my plants, which I absolutely love, or very slowly cleaning the house. And if I hyper focus on that, I neglect absolutely everything else.
Yeah, including yourself.
Yes.
So it's something you need to work on. Me too. But we're not going to lecture each other. That's just a realization.
Yeah. And actually, there's one thing that's really come from us talking about your sparkly brain is actually how self-aware you are as well. And as a student, I know we get assessed against, although I'm not sure if it's the same in Scotland, so apologies for my naivety here, but against the professional capabilities framework, and one section being professionalism. And it is very much designed through a neurotypical lens. But that self-awareness really does shine through for you. That's okay. Are you happy to go on to question 2?
Yeah, thank you.
You are just like me as well. I get it out and then almost refine it after it's come out. And it's that processing, that kind of delayed processing of, okay, this is what I wanted to say.
It's so difficult sometimes. Yeah. Thank you.
Please. So question 2 is, can you tell me a bit about your experience of being a student social worker? So this could be about placements, it could be about the support that you've received at university, anything that kind of encapsulates your experience.
Okay, so my experience has been a bit of a mixed bag, to coin a phrase. It's been really strong, really positive, with lots of really involved lecturers who are keen to see us through the finish line. But on the other hand, I have a bad habit, I think, of liking my own company. And so I've made a few friends, but not very many friends. And the friends I've made are very much like me, where they like to go and do their own thing. So that socializing aspect of it has really been quite tricky. Obviously, as I said previously, like, the neurodiverse thing is very new. So I just thought I was a bit of a loner. But I find when I'm in big groups of people, I can't sit in the silence. I've got an urgency to answer when there's nothing to answer. An urgency to speak when really the situation calls for a bit of silence. And it's usually always me. So it took me quite a while at university to realize that these were traits of neurodiversity that people weren't so keen on. So that was created a mixed bag. Really good, surrounded by really good, intelligent people, really lovely people with incredible ethics and values, but also found myself to be quite a nuisance. So that's been really eye-opening. Really eye-opening.
And have you had any particular reasonable adjustments or support put in place for your placement?
So no, the university have been really, really nice and really keen on helping me with reasonable adjustments, but because I don't have a formal diagnosis, it's really hard for them to provide it. My university placement have been really supportive in general. I think it's taken them some time to adapt to me. But they're all they're all psychologists. So,
and it's good that they're adapting to you and not making you adapt to them as well, because it's breaking that kind of medical model of fix our behaviours and the way we think, as opposed to, okay, let me reflect on actually myself for a little bit and the neurotypical structures that might be informing the way that I think someone might, or the way neurotypical structures make us think this is the way someone should think or behave.
Yeah, 100%. The university have tried to be very supportive, but their hands are tied because there's no formal diagnoses or anything like that. So it's being supportive, but it's more on me to try and figure things out. So,
which must be really, really difficult. I also came from a placement with absolutely no support. and it's such a difficult place to sit in sometimes, especially if there isn't kind of that awareness or willingness to learn and adapt. It can feel like you're back in secondary school again, can't it? Of like you've said, I feel like a nuisance, or even feeling like something might be wrong as opposed to different.
Yes. Yes, that's the one.
So our third question is, what advice would you give to other neurosparkly social workers?
Just sparkle, man. Like, don't. I think we're coming into an age where people are comfortable with us. I think there's still a lot of work to be done, but I think we're coming into an age of acceptance around neurodiversity. People just accept that we're a bit different. I think that's what I've observed. So I think just sparkle. Don't dampen it for anyone. So I sound like a Hollywood movie, but don't ever take away any of your own shine so that someone else can shine above you. You shine because you're meant to shine, like you're born that way. To quote Lady Gaga, but she's not wrong. You know,
No,
you are you. You are meant to sparkle. You are meant to be different. And just because the group of people that you like aren't like you doesn't make you any less than them. And you're absolutely more than capable of fitting in without jamming yourself into an uncomfortable jigsaw slot.
I am absolutely lost for words, David. That was beautifully put, and from a poet, no less.
I'm glad. I'm glad it made sense.
Yeah, and it's something to hold as well, isn't it? Because especially with camouflaging and masking, which is so common in the workplace or at university, in lectures and in those social structures, it can feel really, really vulnerable to suddenly take that away. And that's why I think it's really important that the social work profession is having these conversations, because I know through talking with people at the special interest group, hearing other people talk and knowing that other people are having those conversations almost makes me feel a little bit less vulnerable to talk about it myself, because it's like, oh, well, I know that there are other people that think and feel this way, and because I can see them being loud and proud, it kind of fills up my energy bar a little bit of, actually, I feel like I have the strength to be like, no, this is the way I work, this is the way my brain is, and this is how I will be, and I won't change it.
Yeah, no, that's the best way. I love that. They're like magnets, aren't they?
Yeah.
Absorb it.
Yes, yeah. And it's something you said earlier as well about the peer group that you found at uni are very similar, like-minded as well. I find that too. Sometimes it can be a bit of a gravitational pull towards one another as well.
Yeah, 1000%. And you don't mean it. You do not intend it. But I mean, there's no better friends to have. So, I mean, look, I met you online. So.
Yes, I know, and that's what I love about the kind of neurosparkly social work community as well, is that I feel like I only speak for Twitter, but I feel like it feels like it's bigger, it feels like we're there, whether it's my echo chamber, but it feels really good.
Yes, it does.
David, thank you for giving your time to celebrate neurodivergence in social work and for sharing your experiences. And thank you to everyone who has listened. If you are interested in learning more about neurodivergent social workers and neuroinclusion, please check out the Neurodivergent Social Worker website and the British Association of Social Workers Special Interest Group. The link for both the website and the special interest group can be found in the description below. Thank you.